On a record day of government shutdown, the market is getting annihilated. Only one thing is going to save it. We'll break it down for you today. It's going to be a good one. Don't miss it. Let's just jump right in. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that, of course, is BTCC. In times like this is where you guys get a chance to actually do some trading, try to get in there and make some longs, do some shorts, get into, of course, trading on an exchange where you can get 10% as a bonus on your first-time deposit just by using our link. They've got all kinds of sign-up rewards as well as a VIP bonus that you guys get. So check our link down below. It's going to help you guys get started in crypto. And for those of you who are already in it, time to switch your exchange. Jump over to BTCC and use our link. Okay, a couple of things going on right now. Crypto is getting hammered. 300 million worth of longs now liquidated just in the past 60 minutes. Bitcoin, as I am recording, is under 100K. Looks like it's going to bust 100K. As we record right now, I want to open up real quick to a clip, because this clip will get into what is the catalyst that could recorrect the market almost immediately. Let's watch this.
Tying for the longest shutdown in American history. Joining us right now is Oklahoma Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin.
And so they wanted to wait until after today because they were afraid if they opened the government up before today that their base wouldn't show up and vote in Virginia and New Jersey, where we have tight elections. After today, the negotiations to keep Dick Durbin, he will release everybody and allow them to vote the way they want to. So that's why I have said it very bullishly last week and all weekend is that, Becky, we're going to probably start negotiations tomorrow with the Democrats claiming victory. We'll probably have the vote in either tomorrow night or Thursday. Then the House has got to come back because we're going to have to make some changes to it. We've got to change the date, and there's discussions about maybe putting 3 appropriation bills on the CR2.
You think it's possible we could reopen the government this week then?
Yes, I think we'll be open by Sunday. It depends on, remember, once the House...
The amount of market pressure that we're getting right now, especially around government shutdown, along with a couple other things that I think we're seeing in the market itself, I think is being, to a certain extent, manipulated. Now, how is Bitcoin going to, if it does go down to the 98, which is something we've been talking about with some of our analysts for a couple of weeks. If you look at the poly market right now, big change just in the last couple of days. So what do a few people know if we start seeing this adjustment between November 8th and 11th, which is now up to 28%, today being November 4th. So that would be in the window of this week as a reopening if we continue to see the fall off dramatically from the November 16th and beyond. So it does clearly point to a very significant issue that is being addressed in DC. I want to go further into this. This, of course, is Trump saying doesn't matter. SNAP benefits will only be given when the U.S. government is reopened. This, I think, will continue to put more pressure on the Democrats. Over 40 million Americans rely on SNAP. So this is a big deal if Trump can continue to defy courts on this, and it will push the Democrats into a position that maybe could get us back open. Now, Scott Bessent came on CNBC and he was talking about healthcare because this is another major factor, and the Republicans claim that they have something already waiting in the wings. Listen to what he had to say.
The premiums are going up because the cost is going up, and there's no way to provide Affordable Care Act services. Is there a plan? Because the president has talked about a plan for a long time, and here we are.
You know, I'm not going to preview it, that reopen the government and then the talks can start. And, you know, we're starting to see this affect the economy. If the busiest travel day of the year, the day after Thanksgiving, is a disaster, people aren't able to be with their families.
Bessent is right. It is affecting the economy. And I think one of the things that is becoming more evident is the amount of data loss that we have had. If you look at this tweet by Kobeisi, 60-plus day blackout is what we're up against right now. This includes jobs reports, the unemployment rate. We get CPI inflation data, PPI data, the monthly retail sales data. All of this has been redacted right now based on a government shutdown. The real question is, what is the Fed going to do? How is the market going to respond when we actually see this carryover of data accumulation dropped into the market at one time, as well as a government reopening, and as well as possibly the Clarity Act and many other things that could start to play into this. But there are other things that have to play out for all of this to be at least on the way up. And one of them, of course, you have to watch for is the Supreme Court around tariffs. This would be the last major catalyst that would be significant if the Supreme Court does rule that President Trump does not have the executive powers to use tariffs like he has been using them. This could change things dramatically. Market could roar out of this. I think the key here is how this will get resolved through the Supreme Court, and that's going to happen this week, so be on the lookout for that. Also, the New York City mayoral election is in. It looks like Zohran Mamdani is going to be the new mayor of New York, and that, of course, is another critical thing that needed to occur, obviously, for the Democrats, as we start to see a lot of this out of the way, and now that they can go back, hopefully, and get into a position of reopening the government. Now, I want to go to another clip because this gets into how some of the states were responding to what was happening in New York. Take a look.
Well, earlier today, Governor Abbott tweeted about the New York City mayoral race, saying, quote, after the polls close tomorrow night, I will impose a 100% tariff on anyone moving to Texas from NYC. That post is getting a lot of responses online, as you can imagine.
It will violate Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution, and it is discriminatory.
Blue states like New York literally fund red states and keep them afloat. Then stop funding your tax cuts with New York's money.
Isn't living in the same state as Greg Abbott punishment enough?
We called the governor's office, which said he was just joking.
All right. I don't understand. I thought it was a great troll. I mean, what a great troll on the time that you would troll. 15.4 million views. He is definitely going for Elon trollability. So, of course, obviously that is ridiculous. In the great state of Texas, you would be tariffed if you move in there. Other things that are happening, of course, all this going on during Ripple swell. Robinhood confirmed that the industry is being blocked by a lack of law. And this, of course, is all referring to the Clarity Act, which means we've got to get this underway. Now, remember, we think the Clarity Act is going to go through with flying colors. We're going to get clarity, and it's possible that we could see this even before Thanksgiving. That's 2 weeks away, guys. 2 weeks away. That would be an absolute move in the industry. And, of course, if you think about what we have seen around people saying that we are going under 100K and never coming back, this is in reference to Bitcoin. Then you listen to Tom Lee saying we're at 150 to 200 and a 7,000 S&P 500. That's the kind of polar opposites that we're dealing with right now. Further into what was happening, this is, of course, the Bank Policy Institute going in and says if stablecoins become more integrated into traditional financial system without full safeguards, keywords here, crypto market shocks could infect a broader economy for the first time. Read the latest from the BPI. I just call BS on this one. This, of course, is the bank industry trying to hold on for the last moments of freedom that they have been holding on in terms of the American public. This does not really apply. This, of course, was a response to this. And the statement says more interested in reinforcing their BSA and the AML moats than constructively suggesting improvements to the BSA, which is really the way that they need to do it, is get with the times. They've done it before. The bank industry has modernized. I think this is just another one that will push them into modernization around digital assets. We will all have stablecoins in our banks this time next year, possibly as early as January or February. So just be on the lookout. It's going to happen, guys. And they'll come kicking and screaming all the way. Here's Adina Friedman. She was, of course, the CEO and president of Nasdaq. And she says we're waiting on the Clarity Act. Take a look.
Can you give us a temperature check of the rest of the world of banking and other kind of major legacy institutions who would also need to be a part of the picture?
I think to get them really engaged in the markets, there has to be regulatory clarity. And I think that will make it so that it accelerates the institutional adoption of digital assets in general.
Okay, so Adina there kind of talking to the point that clarity is needed. And they know it's coming. This is just a afterthought, I think. We understand that Congress is going to get this through. It's going to happen, guys. This is just a matter of time before it does. And I realize the government shutdown is really the nemesis here. It is the reason we're in this position right now. Otherwise, I think the market would be absolutely soaring. And if you continue to see where gold is holding very solidly around 4K, the S&P well into this deep 6,900 range. Does it hold and continue to fly? Because only risk assets are the ones that have really kind of had the most hit. Now, Citibank says we don't necessarily want to go this direction. And they're going into how they want to do it, which is public access. Listen to what they had to say.
Clients don't want just a Citi token, right? Like that, and nor do we need a blockchain for a purely Citi token. But from day one, our strategy has always been like network driven. And, we've been in the private permission world because that's the only place we could operate, right? And now with this new administration and Genius and the clarity coming, hopefully, no pun intended, it gives us that clarity about what does it mean for highly regulated institutions like us to be able to, engage with public chains. So unless it's clearly like permissible what we can and cannot do, we're not going to engage in that space.
Having worked at banks many years, banks are proud. And what was it like to try to, convince Citi that Citi token wasn't maybe going to be the way through?
So
Putting you on the spot a little bit, but.
Well, you should say it, what was it like to bend the knee? That's the issue that I think a lot of these banks will face over time. Now, the real, I think, question out there in the market is going to be how will consumers react to a much more open banking system to where you could move your assets around pretty freely. Because right now, there's still quite a bit of lockup, even on cash, of being able to do withdrawals. A lot of limitations around ACH, a lot of limitations on wires. The process that you have to jump through to get that done. This really does change things a lot. Further into this, of course, senators aim to pass the Bitcoin and crypto market law before Thanksgiving. And of course, this is the point I'm getting at. It's going to happen. I think Thanksgiving will be an absolute barn burner around the market because I think we're going to see clarity. If it doesn't get the final, at least we'll have the definition that is going to happen very, very closely to that time frame. Now, other things that were happening at Swell were pretty indicative of where the market is right now. This is an announcement about Ripple unlocking what we'll see in potential institutional capital that we have never seen before coming into the market. Take a look.
Now, last month, Ripple made a significant expansion into the multi-trillion-dollar corporate treasury market through its $1 billion acquisition of G Treasury. Please welcome the CEO of G Treasury, Renat Veriki, to the desk.
So think about us as being the control panel that a CFO or treasurer uses to manage their treasury function within large corporates. We serve clients like American Airlines, Subway, Hartford Insurance, and we do that on a global basis.
Balance sheet management, assets, liabilities, and duration management and things like this, short and long-term financing. This is what that dashboard has on it.
Absolutely. They typically have a complex banking network. All of that within one panel is what's happening. So we manage $250 billion in the accounts that we monitor. So we orchestrate 13 trillion of payments. They can now move money instantly and get yield. On nights and weekends, there's virtually no activity. So imagine a world now where Ripple brings a product that can make that money work. So this faster pace of money movement will allow for use cases that they've never thought about before. It's an explosion of excitement.
I'm thinking also about hedging. American Airlines has to hedge fuel prices and other prices. Hartford Insurance, I think you mentioned, they have to hedge equity prices and rates, maybe not 7 days a week. Are you going to kill all your clients' weekends?
So, I had not thought about that problem, actually.
Your competitors must have lost some sleep after they saw what happened, to your firm.
Yeah, it was a nice night.
This is much bigger than I think a lot of people are giving it credit for. This was, I think, one of the final artistic moves by Garlinghouse and his team to put Ripple in a very unique position, more so than any other industry leader out there. If you look at where Ripple has been in terms of their almost $2.5 billion worth of acquisitions. So big noise, I think, coming in from New York right now. All right, so other things that were happening there at the event, Bitwise referenced how successful their Solana ETF was and where they think this is going from here, because they're kind of giving a 6-month window for some big things to happen. Take a look.
Did you predict that BSOL would perform so well? And dig a little bit deeper.
It's incredible. Yesterday it took in about $70 million, and it's gathered over $400 million in 5 business days. And individuals who are using the benefit of an ETF, allowing them to access it in retirement accounts and other types of accounts. So I think that there's still a huge amount of capital that has not been able to access many assets. If we're fortunate to be able to launch an XRP ETF, I think it'll be a similar story. Having said that, I don't think that investors are going to have a portfolio of 23 different digital assets. So I think over maybe the 6 to 12 month time frame, more investors will turn to index solutions.
All right, he might be right. That was Hunter coming in from Bitwise, and he may be right around index solutions, but I think the big 3 or 4 will most likely still win in terms of the isolated ones. That includes Bitcoin, ETFs, obviously what we'll see within the Ethereum network, and then of course XRP and Solana. Those will be the big ones I think that will lead out the pack. I guess that's a good thing in one way, but if you're an ETF investor, you might want to look at the index side of things. Now, one other catalyst that could play into this is going to be IPOs. IPOs have been pretty much at bay since the government shutdown. According to Friedman, there is a huge pent-up demand and lineup of IPOs coming that are crypto-oriented. Take a look.
And then when we look at the pipeline, the immediate pipeline of companies wanting to come out, either through IPOs or SPAC combinations that have already been announced, there are about 17 companies that are waiting to come out immediately. We obviously are sitting in a government shutdown right now, which is slowing things down a bit. But of those 17, I think either 12 or 13 are coming to Nasdaq. So some to come out hopefully in the last month or so of the year. But we are expecting actually a pretty busy first quarter just because of the fact we've had some delays in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
All right, so delays in the fourth quarter, obviously government shutdown coiling into that right there. Obviously, we look at the market right now on a massive red day with Bitcoin down almost 5%, just as we're recording right here. If this is the point of no return, guys, I think we are in this range of possibly the 98 to 97 range that is going to be considerable. And it's possible, even if you look at Ethereum holding it right around 3,200, 3,300 right now, if we clip down to what we could see, and that is under 3K, because there'll be a large wall of resistance there, this is the line in the sand. If we don't get in at least a government reopening, that's how much this is affecting the crypto markets. This may be the beginning of a bear market. Yep, you heard me say it. Those are the kind of things that if, and the other question you have to ask is, has it gone long, so long, that this has started to cause permanent damage to the market, especially on risk assets? All right, you guys, if you're not in our Diamond Circle, make sure and do that. It's another place where you can get additional content from us. And also, if you're not following me out there on X, make sure and do that. It's just @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Paul Barron Show.